compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Notice of this meeting has been provided by advertising in the Cape May Star and Wave on the Township website and has been posted on the bulletin board of Township Hall.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad. Here. Councilmember Neville.
Here.
Councilmember Douglas.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Clark.
Here.
Mayor Beck.
Here. Okay, nothing on the work session this evening. Ready. Move down to the consent agenda for council for comments or questions on the consent agenda. I think the media will take note that on 2013-231, we're appointing a special counsel for the purpose of opposing the City of Cape May's attempt to withdraw from the Lower Cape May Regional School District. And as it stands, I think we have hoped to bring that gentleman here to our next council meeting to explain what our position and what our circumstances are, as well as we hope to have Mr. Terrence Crowley, who is going to do the feasibility study. We have managed to get two great people, high-powered, I'll use that term, if that sounds good to our solicitor.
I think so.
All right. We're very confident that they will do more than an adequate job and we'll be fine.
And just so everybody knows, Mr. Campbell comes to us very highly recommended by the attorneys who went before the Supreme Court on this issue. He has also recently been the lead counsel for the respondents in a recent opinion that's just come out where Mr. Gagliardi in his proposition is almost identical to what Cape May is proposing, that was soundly defeated.
Are you trying to say the City of Cape May is wasting their money?
I don't know
I would like
more
to have that
clearly.
directly said.
I'd like to say, I don't know how more clearly I could say that, but at the next meeting, I think I will.
Okay. All right, well, there's $7,500 that we could have been spending for potholes, water, drainage, whatever. Instead, we'll take it out on the front lawn and set it on fire. Okay, any other council comments? You guys on this thing? I'm done. All right, we'll open it up to the public for comment on the consent agenda. All right, gotta be quick now, Mr. A. Come on up.
Quick. I can take me 2 minutes to walk up
The
there.
2-second rule is in effect.
I don't make you sit on the end.
All right, go ahead. What's that squealing noise?
Okay. I had to waste a little time, that's why I wasn't saying it for a while. But anyway, here it is. 2013, where we're at here, 229 and 230. Would you explain each one of these vehicles? Who are they for? And
Police department, both of them are?
both of them are for police department.
Yeah.
Both of them are for the police.
All right, so they'll also be equipped with the package for, that goes with it? Is included
Yeah,
with it?
they'll be the police package. They'll be black and white. They'll have all the emergency equipment.
All right, because, you know, looking at this, you don't know who they're for. It could be any employee in the township and all. It'd be nice if we had just a little bit of an explanation.
Well, next time we'll put police department next to it.
All right, well, that's because verbally I'm getting it from you. And could you tell me what this 233 is, action plan for bicycle-friendly community, is requested by Cape May Point?
That's a resolution asking us more or less to be a good neighbor. They're looking to make a bicycle, a more safe bicycle route. Gosh, what's that road there? Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
And since we're contiguous properties, and we, the council, is supporting to extend the bicycle trail, we're working with Middle Township. Matter of fact, we have a meeting this Thursday with the DRBA, Middle Township, and Lower Township to finalize a bike trail. But anyway, this is a resolution, a feel-good resolution of support for bicycle riding throughout the southern end of the county. So we're supporting our neighbor.
It does not,
We're good neighbors, to everybody around us, but they're not good neighbors towards us in many.
well, that's Cape May Point.
Cape May Point.
We're not talking about Cape
I
May
read it.
Council.
I read it. I know it's Cape May Point.
Right.
But also with Cape May Point, is there any cost to this township for that bicycle?
No, in fact, being honest about it, we looked at it this morning, and there's the resolution that we're approving here is watered down version of the original resolution, which had committed us to forming a bicycle committee. I need to find mine. And we redid that so that what we're actually proposing here is, as Mike said, it's kind of a support that bicycles, we agree we need to encourage the use of these. We look at it from the perspective that whether it's our employees or the township, we're working, as Mike said, to bring a bicycle path through the township in conjunction with Middle Township. We're working with North Wildwood.
The DRBA.
Well, the DRBA, but we're also running, isn't there a bike path that we were looking at for Wildwood Crest?
Diamond Beach.
Wildwood Crest,
That's what Glenn was working on.
Yeah, Glenn's working on that. So we're strongly encouraging the use. But as far as forming an individual, hold on, let me find it. What's the number of that? Secretary.
233. It's actually
Got
on
it?
the desk.
Oh, here it is. Okay, some of the things that, but it's not that we're against it. It says, it talks about improving the environment, reducing congestion. We're all in favor of that. Boosting the economy, enhancing recreation, saving city funds, enhancing public safety, improving the health. We're fine with that. Where we backed out, just at least for now, is like, for instance, adopting a target level of bicycle use and safety to be achieved within a specific time frame. I'm not sure even how to measure that. Improve data collection to monitor progress. Establish information programs for bicycling. Establish a citywide multidisciplinary committee for non-motorized mobility to submit to the mayor and council a regular evaluation. We looked at that and said, well, I'm not sure. It might be a good thing, but it's an awful lot. We want to be a good neighbor. We support their action plan for bicycle-friendly communities. We're just not sure if we support all of these 10 individual items. So
Right.
we did a resolution which supports what they're saying without committing us to all the other additional items.
All right, fine explanation. The only thing that, we're good neighbors to everybody. They can be a good neighbor. I just don't want any more taxes and costs to the taxpayers of this township and myself.
No, there's no
To a point where we can't pay it anymore.
No, this is basically, like Mike said, a good neighbor type of support.
I know we are. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Comments? Close public portion.
Approval of minutes, August 5th, 2013. Resolution 2013-221 through Resolution 2013-233.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Neville?
Yes.
Councilmember Douglas?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes. Move down to,
Resolution number 2013-234. Approval of vouchers. This is for Douglas Landscaping in the amount of $1,700.
okay, council comments? Public comments? Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Neville?
Yes.
Councilmember Douglas?
Abstain.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.
Resolution number 2013-235. Approval of vouchers for Lower Township Rescue Squad, $10,000.
Okay, council comments? Public comments? Close the public portion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Abstain.
Councilmember Neville?
Yes.
Councilmember Douglas?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.
Ordinance number 2013-16. An ordinance amending Chapter 7 entitled Traffic of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Lower. This ordinance approves stop signs on Farmstead, at Farmstead and Cape, on Cold Spring, at Cold Spring and Cape, and on Mayflower, at Mayflower and Cape. This is the second reading and the public hearing of this ordinance, and this ordinance has been made available to the public.
Council comments on the ordinance? Open up for public comments. Close the public portion. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve. I'll second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Neville?
Yes.
Councilmember Douglas?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.
Ordinance 2013-17, an ordinance amending Chapter 230 of the Revised General Ordinances of the Township of Lower. This regards unobstructed views at corners, changing the requirement from 8 feet to 12 feet. This is also the second reading and the public hearing. This ordinance has been made available to the public.
Okay. Do I have any council comments on this ordinance?
I think it's a good idea, considering the oversized vehicles going on the road now. We have to start looking at, and the safety of the school buses. But I think most people aren't going to realize what's happening until after it is in effect.
Okay. I agree with you. Anybody else, council?
I also agree that we got quite a few areas that the views at corners are obstructed, so this will help in getting that cleaned up, and hopefully everybody will just comply and we'll get it done as soon as possible.
And Mayor, if I may, the Public Works right now, over the last week's been going around intersections, trim back trees that are obstruction for the stop signs at intersections.
That's a good thing.
They're on it.
That's
They're
excellent.
ready for the school year.
Okay. Okay. Public comments on this ordinance? Okay, close the public portion. Do I have a motion to approve in a second?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Neville?
Yes.
Councilmember Douglas?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.
Ordinance 2013-18, an ordinance for the Township of Lower to establish an energy aggregation program. This is the second reading and public hearing, and this ordinance was also made available to the public.
Do I have any council comments?
Yeah, I had some questions from Margaret, and they're not answered in detail the way she would like, and I'll make a motion to table this.
I'll second that motion.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Neville?
Yes.
Councilmember Douglas?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yep. Move down to administrative reports. Council comments on that. Go to council comments. Councilman Conrad.
Hope everyone's having a good summer. Last week we had the first, hopefully the first of an education series for the public on drug abuse, substance abuse. It came in the 15 minutes. It was a wonderful program. We had a good turnout. Wish we had more. But I think that's just the first step in what we have to do to go outside the box to try to curb the problem we are having in this community. It's everywhere, but we're going to do what we can.
Yeah, I know a lot of people have read about the dolphins. There was one that washed up last Saturday the 10th between Pinewood, kind of like where Cox Hall Creek was. And it was kind of the saddest thing I actually saw. It's in the wash. I could see the blowhole. Don Murphy, he did a good job because he called the marine mammals. But it's just sad you can't help it, and there's nothing to do. But the worst thing to do would be to try and help it, because if they go ballistic on you, you're going to end up hurt. And unfortunately, it's like over 60 of them now. So if you happen to encounter that, it's a sad thing. But just best thing you do is call the animal control.
Norris?
Three things. First off, Mayor, I had the pleasure of joining you every Monday. We have a council meeting, and I just want everyone to know that we have a mayor that actually reads every line of our expense ledger, and if he sees something that's out of whack, he calls attention to it, including the cost of, may I say? I think he flagged the cost of the baggies for the dog baggies for the beach.
$800 for doggy bags.
So I just want you to know he's looking
We're
at
collecting Acme bags after I saw that.
Enough of that. So that's a good example. Secondly, I just want to give an update, brief update on the Economic Development Committee. As I told you last time, about 30-some people gathered at the Lobster House from all sectors of our economy and generated about a dozen or so ideas that we are putting on a website, and we're asking people to look at them, comment on them, and help us rank them in terms of which idea will give us the biggest bang for the buck. We have ideas that are short-term, we have ideas that are long-term, and if anyone here would like to participate in that, help us sort of review those and contribute your thoughts and ideas to our economic development, we'd be happy to take your email, and then I'll send you a link to this site. And we're using an approach that's been used by many big organizations, including the United States Air Force. When you have a lot of ideas coming from a lot of people, and you're trying to figure out which ones are most likely to succeed, they use this particular approach that we're using. So we're bringing it right down here to Lower Township. And we're going to report to you on the results of all this. It'll give you an opportunity to offer up ideas and an opportunity to help us prioritize those ideas and rank them. So the final thing is that I have our beloved deputy clerk, Karen, went to Hawaii.
Only Karen.
It's nice to know that. So I hope, and it says here that you went to Hawaii and you brought us all back some macadamia nuts covered in chocolate. And it says here that we can offer these after the meeting to anyone who would like them. Is that right? So I'm going to.
What a generous kid.
I'm going to offer those. I'm going to open the box and put them on the table after council. Thank you, Karen. Thanks for coming back.
Somebody tackle Frank.
That's all I've got.
All right, okay. Just a reminder, Lower Township is on Facebook. Visit the Township's Facebook page for municipal information, photos of your friends and neighbors, and news of upcoming events. Search Lower Township on Facebook and hit the like button when you arrive there. A photo gallery of Lower Township events is also available on the Township's webpage, which is townshipoflower.org. Okay, tomorrow is the blood drive, 10 to 3. Contact my good friend Julie here if you or someone you know wishes to donate blood to help those in need. And again, I repeat, American Deli will be rewarding each donor with a coupon for a free slice of pizza. There you go. If you bring 7 other friends, you get a pizza. What more could you ask for?
None.
Okay, so we did, as Tom said, we did the 15-minute child break. And the gentleman who was Kieran Killian, he was the parent educator. He works in a school north of here. And I really want to tip the hat to him. He was here for about an hour and 15 minutes. It was a 15-minute child break, but it was a little over an hour for his program. And Colleen Crippen, it was her idea. She went out as, we challenged all of our people here to understand that this fight that we are currently in against substance abuse is something that we're all involved with. Every department, whether it's rec department or police, certainly, and certainly Colleen Crippen went out and got this 15-minute child break. And he was, the one thing I learned, and it does make you mad, I have to admit. Tom says, and I thought, well, we did everything but stand on our head in Macy's window to try and draw a crowd down here. And we had a couple dozen people. And I thought, well, how disappointing. And then the guy that does it said, this is a huge crowd for him. And somebody came in from the county and said, this is a very good crowd. I don't, you don't get people. And that kind of stunned me. Because when you sit back and say, well, what's more important to you than your kid? Can you tell me that? Is there anything out there that you possess that's more important than your kid? And yet we got thousands of parents here, thousands. And we run something to try and keep your kid out of an epidemic, which is sweeping not Lower Township, not the county, but New Jersey. And we end up with a couple dozen parents here. And they're probably the ones we don't want to deal with, but they're here. And the one thing I learned that this guy said that I didn't know going into it, the one thing I learned was that they did a survey of all the kids, and they said, well, who do you want to talk to you about substance abuse? And who do you think they answered? Not the coach, not the counselor at school, not the teacher. They want their parents to talk to them. They want their parents to sit down, turn the TV set off, eat dinner, and tell them about the lifetime of misery that's there for them and everybody they touch if they get involved in something that they can't come back from. And it's hit a lot of good families, and we're sitting here, we're trying, people. We're trying desperately to let people know. My understanding is probably by the end of September, the JCATA, Governor's Council on Alcohol and Drug Abuse, and I'm not holding them to it, but they'll come out with the report that I've been talking about. I've been in touch with them, connecting the ladder from the pills right into the heroin. So what are we doing? What's next? Well, we're going to keep fighting. We're not stopping because, even though, from an anecdotal perspective, I'm not getting the kinds of calls that we had, say, 6 months ago. And from a data perspective, looking at requests for rehabilitation last year, we seem to have leveled off. The county increased somewhat. We actually dropped by a couple percentage points. And I can get you the exact data if people want to see that. But if it's one kid, one person, it's too many. I'm just saying, I think we're having an impact. I hope we're having an impact. But regardless, we're not going to try. So where do we go next? Well, September 23rd is going to be the township-wide community drug response or substance abuse program we're going to have here. I'll get you more information on it. We just had a meeting last week with our team. And all the players are there. CAPE Assist, CAPE Counseling, our judge, our prosecutor, the police department, the rec department, Family Matters. We have, everybody comes into a room and we say, how do we help these people? What can we do? And everybody that's been involved has committed themselves to that. Tom and I went last month to a dinner where a guy came down and talked about Vivitrol, which is a drug that's on the market now to help combat it, mask
It blocks the opiate and alcohol receptors in the brain.
Something relatively
So
new.
they can't get high if they take this stuff.
Right.
It's not a maintenance drug like methadone or anything like that. There is no effects to it, the person whatsoever. So no euphoria. They get a shot once a month, and they can shoot up all they want to do it. It doesn't do anything, so it's wasting their money. It's one part of a treatment.
And no matter what we say, no matter what we do, the parents have to step up and protect their kids. They got, you can't come to me 5 years from now if your kid gets stuck on this stuff, and we're doing everything we can here. We'll fight and fight and fight, regardless of the response. And it was not, in the eyes of people that are in this thing day in, day out, they said it was an excellent response. I don't know that short of packing this house, I would have been happy, and we certainly didn't do that.
I think what we have to do in the future, I know this guy has limited time, but offer something. Because I know some people that wanted to go, but they had to work. Economic times, they have to work. Maybe different times, different days.
I don't.
But it's,
I don't know.
we have to try.
We did our best, but it was a good program. It was information. Some of it I already knew, some of it I learned. But that one thing that stuck out to me was the fact that kids want to talk to the parents, and they're waiting for the parents to talk to them. And you can't let it go without doing that. You're rolling the dice with these kids day in. Okay, so I'm off of that. All right, what else do we have here? Blood drive tomorrow. We said that. Facebook. That's it, I think, right? Okay, we'll do call to the public. If you have a question or comment for us, feel free to jump up here.
Janet Pittsville. I just wanted to reiterate what Mr. Stanman said as far as this appellate court ruling with Seaside Park, which
Yes.
I think is really our situation with the city of Cape May. I was thrilled as to the ruling, and But, you know, in checking into this, doing background research, there is a lot of disturbing issues with this in general, not specific to us, but just in general, of seashore towns losing population, losing their children, and yet they're wealthy properties. And it seems like this is the game that they play to reduce their tax base. And the thing that really disturbs me is the statement they're making without saying it, which really is New Jersey doesn't like children. Everything we do is against having children. This is in your town. We really don't promote it. COA was because you don't want families with children moving in, development. You don't want families with children moving in. They won't say that flat out because that would be New Jersey's dirty little secret that we don't like children, because it raises our property taxes. But the way we fund our schools primarily, which is 60% of our property tax, this is the message that we all know, but we don't say. So we don't want the development because it's going to bring families with children. A lot of this, I will say to Deputy Mayor Clark, is tied into economic development too. There is a big group of people in Cape May that don't want economic development. Probably the same ones that don't want Route 55 because that would increase our transportation thing. It all goes back to bringing families with children here and the tax impact it will have on the town. Not only that, but land use issues. I wish that the state of New Jersey would come up with a different method for funding the local schools that wouldn't pit towns against other towns, that wouldn't make decisions like, like COA, where you have to get a rich town like Mount Laurel. No, you're going to let families move in there, even though they have children. People wouldn't fight developments, because of the children. This, to me, is, yes, we're dealing with the city of Cape May, but it's a bigger issue in the state of New Jersey itself as far as I'm concerned. We all have that obligation to all the children in New Jersey, and it just eats at me to have this little thing in the pit of my stomach that says, yeah, but in reality, we really don't want children because they cost a lot of money. Every town tries to push them off to the next town, and it would be nice to just grab them, hug them, and say, yeah, we want them. We want you here. It's not going to cost us a fortune, whatever. We'll share that cost throughout the state and welcome the families with the children. Okay, I'm off my soapbox.
All right, thank you. Mr. Shefs.
Steve Shefs, Town Bank. First, I'd like to thank the Herald for having published my letter.
Well, a nice letter.
And I did some additional research, and I want you to be a little bit aware of it. And these dates that I give you, from 2001, 2002, I can back up the actual periodicals from the papers, just so you know. For over 10 years, Cape May City Councilman has had a personal vendetta against poor residents of Lower Township to augment the extremely low school taxes paid by the very many extremely not rich, non-residential property owners in Cape May. Despite knowing they have lost 25% of their permanent population since 1980 and over 10% between 2000 and 2010, they continue to ignore the logical situation to their issue, mainly how to keep working families with children in the city, as well as attracting new families with children, instead of extremely wealthy non-resident property owners. Former Mayor Starner was very upset with some of this, with how they handled it. Lest we forget now The tactics they're employing today are the same ones that failed them in the past. For example, as reported in the August 22nd, 2002 issue of the Gazette, Cape May paid over $2,000 for someone to lobby for them in Trenton. In that same paper, Wichterman said, you know who we're looking after. We're looking after number one, he said. If this goes the way it should, it's going to hurt the people in Lower Township and maybe the people in West Cape May more. He left out the word damn. As reported in the Herald newspaper on September 11, 2001, Wichterman asked council and the mayor to hire a lobbyist and attorney. Cape May hired lobbyist and attorney Paul Anzano to help introduce legislation to change the regional school tax formula. As reported in the October 3rd, 2001 issue of the Cape May Star and Wave, the Cape May and Eden had the Senate introduce Bill S-295 and Assembly Bill A-881 prepared for adoption. Senator Cafaro and Assemblyman Estelta, however, recognized that action of these bills would be tantamount to robbing the poor to pay the rich. In closing, I would like to commend a very special person, Reverend Joe Tolley, who along with her husband, also a minister, are residents of Cape May. On July 16, 2013, in a letter to the press, an article read, "How dare Cape May shortchange students?" She said, "I write this on behalf of the young people being educated in Cape May County, the second poorest county in New Jersey. We all know that one of the best ways out of poverty is through an excellent education. Therefore, when I, as a resident of Cape May City, watch our city council and mayor put their energies, management skills, and our taxpayer money into hiring lawyers for the purpose of reducing our share of support for the Lower Township Regional School District, I am appalled. The increased tax burden would fall on the backs of our poorer communities. In Cape May, we have priced ourselves out of a family community into a community of a dwindling number of residents, year-round residents each year, and an increasing number of second home mansions. Taxes are key to democracy, and education is our top priority. I say, may God bless Reverend Joe Tolley. Thank you.
Agree with you on that. Well spoken. There's, my mother told me to look for the silver linings in the clouds. So here's the silver linings I see coming out of the school funding discussion. Number one, as a result of some of the intemperate statements that have been made by some people, it's caused many leaders from Cape May, many people from Cape May to come to us in support and saying we don't think the way this man is talking. And I think it's getting a lot of people to think twice about how important our kids are and how important the regional component to our neighborhood is. The second thing is it's going to start a discussion about how we can educate our children more cost effectively. We're going to be doing a feasibility study. We're going to be looking at options that are going to make us all think twice. Do you realize back in 2003, Lower Township went to Cape May and said, why don't we do a regional K through 12? Let's look at that. So this was something that we brought up back in 2003 as a result of our initiative. We go over to Cape May and say, what about regionalizing our entire school district and enjoying the benefits of that? And that discussion needs to come back up again, as well as some other ideas that some people have about how we can provide a good education in a cost-effective way. So I see that as another benefit or a silver lining coming out of this discussion. We'll put our creative minds back. So, I just hope that, my hope is that after after we bring in this attorney and we bring in the folks that are going to do the feasibility study, that people will stop and think twice about setting all that money on fire in front of Town Hall.
And what I was going to add was, I think we should announce that Mr. Campbell is coming to our next meeting. He's going to educate us on the history of this situation. He has been asked to present the facts in the most objective way they could possibly be presented, not just our point of view. And I think we should invite everybody, including the voters, the council of Cape May, anybody that has any interest in this thing whatsoever. Should be invited to attend. I think he will be very knowledgeable, because I think at the end of it, we're going to defy the other side or anybody to find that anything that was represented that night was anything other than the truth.
Okay. Sounds like the challenge is out there. Yeah. Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday the 4th. Okay. Yes, sir. This gentleman's.
I'm Jay Young from Cape May Beach.
Yes.
This marks the 1-year anniversary that I've been coming before this council asking for the road to be repaired from Town Bank, Clubhouse Road from Town Bank to S Drive, which you could probably add Town Bank to Bay all the way down to Wildwood, because they're all like in bad shape now anyway. So the last time I was here was June, and you told me you didn't have a clue when anything was going to be fixed. Do you have any update that would seem to make some sense?
We have not received the approval back from DOT. That's what I know as of today. They review it, and then they'll authorize us to move forward. Talking to the Public Works Director and our engineer, and Matt Eckert, my best guess, and I'm going to be a guess now because I don't want to be held to saying if it doesn't happen, probably in the fall, probably by November, they should be redoing that road and paving it. That's my best guesstimate from what intelligence I know today.
What road does that mean?
That means Clubhouse Road, and then they're going to do some improvements on the S turn there also and redo that area.
Yeah. Okay, you know, I'm almost embarrassed to ask for a decent road. I mean, after hearing about the problems on Roseanne and the vicinity down there, there's some infrastructure issues that really need to be addressed. And I think, you know, my focus should go to council and not to Mike here. I mean, infrastructure is one of the basics that we should have here. And I think instead of looking at ways to build fishing piers and promenades and bridges to nowhere, we ought to think about fixing the roads. And I think Roseanne is another one that's got some serious problems that are going to cost some money. So, you know.
I don't want to go too far into this, but, we talked about this at the last meeting, and I don't know that we responded as well as we possibly could have. That whole Coxwell Creek watershed program or initiative that began with the feasibility study back in 2004, it was meant not only to bring the tidal flow in and out at the S-curve. It was meant not only to kill phragmites and eliminate fire hazards. It was meant not only to control mosquitoes, but it was also to control flooding in that area. That was a multi-million-dollar project that went online, and I remember when that project was being done. If you look, and we're doing a lot more than like perhaps these guys are getting credit for. If you look at that neighborhood and you look at the height elevation, there's a problem over there. And the point I'm saying is that we were told it would take a while, maybe a year or two, for some of that water in that neighborhood ultimately to drain out once this project went online, which it did a year ago.
You're talking about the Roseanne.
I'm talking about that, all that neighborhood, the Bay Shore Estates over in that area.
Right.
We didn't build that. I mean, I didn't put those houses there. They got put there 40 years
Yeah,
ago.
sure. Understand.
And
Long time.
and government, again, we're trying to look at a problem for something, the poor decisions that were made maybe 40, 50 years ago. And, we'll do our best. We will do our best. Before that project was even completed and online, we were contemplating what else we could do. So we authorized Hatch Mott to start to look at the height elevations over there. And we'll probably go back and ask them to look at other things as we go along. But to say that we've completely neglected that, I think is wrong. I think we would, in all honesty, that whole project, that whole Coxhole Creek project that took about 10 years from the beginning to the end, I've heard people say to me that it has made a difference over there. You know, you have to understand there's things that we can control. Groundwater may not be something that we can totally control. But we got to play this out. There could be 6 different, maybe even more, reasons for the water in those streets over there. It does us no good to spend $4 million, regardless of the promenade, regardless of any fishing pier. It does us no good to put those pipes in the ground, find out that's not the right answer. Now, we did support the whole wildlife management area. We did, at every turn, pass resolutions and support this expenditure of $4, $5, $6 million. And we were told that it would help alleviate some of the flooding over there. Now, in the long run, some of the rains we're getting, just like in Philadelphia, last week, the week before, 8 inches, 1.5 inches above a record rain for one day. We're getting rains that are almost biblical in proportion. And just like over here in front of the 7-Eleven, where I said last time you could have launched a ferry boat, the water was gone in an hour. You could drive right down here. We're at ground zero down here. You are in the shore. You get water and the water goes away. Where we have a problem is when we get water and it doesn't go away. We will work hard to try and help the people over there and do the best we can. That's all I can say. That we can't stop the rest of the things in this town. And you know, there's other areas that we have to look at. I get calls all the time for flooding. And, you know, we've reached out to the state. We've done a lot of different things. Some things we can talk about, some we can't, because I'm not going to put people at the end of a phone conversation that are not quite ready.
Well, that's fine. I don't have an issue, you know, I understand there's problems and you're trying to work. My point is that it's an infrastructure issue.
Sure it is. And we inherited that infrastructure.
So are the roads. And the roads can be fixed. And that's not necessarily related to flooding.
I got that. And we're doing the best we can, but we're not DEP. I can't sign off on that road. And if we do start paving the road before we get permission from DEP, you can bet the house we're going to be paying a nice fine like we did when we first came in. Because we tried to fix an outfall pipe on the beach and had trucks out there and we got fined $70-some thousand. We have to obey the law like everybody else. I would love to go up there and jump all over DEP and do that, but this is the process that goes through. I can't help that. We needed to run water lines over in Town Bank. There were people drinking water that they shouldn't even wash in, let alone drink. We had to rip streets up to run those lines. We have applied for grants. We got the grant. Now DEP has to give us permission. I wish if they gave us permission right now, I'd call the guys at home and have them on your street.
Right. Well,
Don't have
that's
that.
fine.
No, I'm talking about clubhouse.
They put the lines in,
I'm just
they did
saying-
a very nice job, they
They got
repaved it, so it can be done. It's not
The
magic or anything.
the only person that wants your street done more than you is probably our manager.
Right.
He sweats bullets on this thing. He wants your street done because he doesn't want you at the microphone. And I'm being honest about it. You know, this is the last thing he wants to hear, but he can't do it until we get permission to do it. I'm sorry, I wish I had better news for you.
You know, it's a year.
I got you, I got
And
you.
it was before, you know, it was bad before I started this little crusade here.
Sure,
But, you know,
I can't make it happen. I wish I could. I thank you for coming up.
all right.
Yes?
Rizzo Mickles Run, as an aside, maybe this gentleman would like to get some people to sign a thing and send it up to the DEP to get them to get off their behinds. I don't know, maybe that would help it.
DOT.
Yeah, it's at the DOT, Department of Transportation, and I'm going to ask George Tamar, the engineer, to call up there and see where it's at. I mean, we should be hearing something any day. I mean, we're ready to go as soon as we get the permission from the Department of Transportation. But there's a grant involved, and we can't jeopardize that either. So.
Yeah.
No, not when you can get something for nothing. I'd like to ask Deputy Mayor to comment about the Fishing Creek School. Our last 2 fundraisers were rained out. Are we going to have another one? What's the status? Give us a little report. As a former educator, you know that I'm interested in having this place open and I'm sure many of the people and the children in Lower Township are. So thank you for your comments.
Well, as you know, I'm not formally on the Friends of Fishing Creek School Committee, and they're the ones running the fundraisers, but I know we're going to continue to have them, and I should give you maybe an update on the progress of the renovation that we've talked about. So the latest on that is that any renovation that we have submitted from our architect has to be approved by the historical commissions. And as you know, we got a grant that about $240,000 roughly to rehab the entire facility, including a bathroom, and make it ADA compliant, provide for handicapped accessibility. And part of that handicapped accessibility is having a driveway that comes up to the school, makes us, where a truck or rather a van can drop somebody off and then go back out again. What the architect had presented in the plans was macadam, black macadam. So the Historical Commission looks at things like, hey, could you make this road in a way that doesn't look so modern? Could you make it look a little bit more like a dirt path, perhaps, or something that would be in keeping with the historical nature of things? So this has slowed up. This conversation between the architect and the Historical Commission has put us behind schedule. We had hoped to be able to go out to bid for the work starting in June. And we're still now waiting for permission from the Historical Commission.
How about the shed?
Well,
You don't even want to talk about it.
I don't want to talk about that.
All right.
Well, the shed,
I take it
the
back.
eyesore, for example, okay, since you brought up the shed, I mean,
The mayor did.
well, we have to remember, this is the important thing to remember, we don't own this property. We are leasing it from the state, and we need to seek permission from the state for everything that we do with the property. And as a result, we can't just tear down an eyesore that's a shed that really had nothing to do with the original structure, but, someone needs to come out and say, maybe this is part of the evolution of this school story, and maybe we should look twice at it, and maybe we should save it, and maybe we can find a use for it to hold the chairs and tables that we're going to need for events. That's one of the positive things. The good news is on the school is that we will be able to proceed with the work to do the lead abatement. There's a significant amount of lead inside and outside. So Colleen Crippen, our grants coordinator, told me that she thinks we can move forward with the lead abatement piece of this and get this thing going. So at the end of the day, we said that we were going to be open for business with a facility that can have kids inside of it and outside of it sometime next year, and we're still hoping for that. So anyway, Frank, thanks for the opportunity to give an update on that.
Thank you for the report, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Is there anybody else wishes to address council? Close the public portion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, ma'am. Pass that to Ken.